I think so.
Oh my God. Why am I always hideous?
Welcome. You're not
Hi.
hideous.
I'm
You're
hideous and
here.
grumpy.
I know. I'm not feeling my best today. I'm going to lead with that.
Neither of us are, but
I'm
here
not
we
bringing
are.
my best self, and I'm bringing myself a day late because of something Steph did to herself. So
Here we
we'll
go.
start there.
I fell
We'll
again.
start why
I
we're
fell
recording
again.
late.
I sent Lauren a voice memo as I do so that she knows I'm not canceling. And I was like, I am closing the chickens and I will be right there. I literally did finger guns. I'm like, I'll be right there. And she was like, perfect, And I did it. I closed the chickens. But the thing was, it was raining. And I'm always in a hurry, for no reason. And
I know. Me and my husband both have recently been like, what are we racing against? Because even like on a Sunday afternoon, we'll be like putting the stuff in the shed away, like just like the yard shit, like you keep taking
like
stuff
you're being
out.
timed.
But yeah, like we're on a game show. Like why? Why do we have to Tetris it in there at such a speed, I feel like
And I don't think I am. I think it's who I married that is like, you should Tetris things, And I'm like,
the hastiness is infectious. You're just like, okay,
you're like, fine,
we're rushing through. So there you are, rushing to nowhere,
rushing to my basement, and I'm like, I'm just gonna grab my water and my laptop, and I am on my way. And the issue with my basement stairs, this is really a liability. I hope my homeowner's insurance, isn't listening right now because I know they're obsessed with me. But anyways,
pictures of my house.
They're
Gross.
obsessed with my trampoline. Get over yourself. I'll send you the link. My dad bought it for me. Anyways, I grab my water. I almost said my trampoline. I grab my water, my laptop, and I'm like, do. I take 1.5 steps. Boom, she goes down the stairs, bang on my tailbone. I'm like, literally, this is it for me. Like, if I break something right now, this is it for me. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I just down the stairs. I just ski down the stairs on my back, and I'm
bobsled style.
I'm just like this,
Jamaican bobsled style.
I'm literally like working it down the stairs, like
now. Pan to me as she's falling, free falling. I am ready in my basement with this obnoxious light.
It is so annoying. Like, who?
What am I, Shakira?
I love that Shakira
was the first famous person I thought of because I've watched
Are there
Utopia
any other famous
recently.
people? Are there any? My niece has an obsession with Shakira, so she's pretty famous to me too.
I watch a lot of Zootopia. So I'm under this scalding light and I'm just hanging out with my husband and he's like, I'll just hang out with you. I've got a song to edit. I'll wait. So, like 5 minutes passes and 10 minutes pass. And like, as we've said, Rooties, Stephanie and I have a joke that like, like I always worry that she's like quitting the pod in the 2 minutes that it's going to take to video call me on a different method. And now we're inching on a realm that I want to check in on her.
She's past 10 minutes at this point.
So I don't remember what I said. I think I said, "Are you alive?" I don't know.
Let you know. I'll let you know.
If we ever had to bring our text messages to the court of law,
that's
I'm
my
gonna look
sister.
bad.
That's
Karen
my
Reed.
sister. She was sleeping, and that's my sister.
She loves to sleep.
She loves to sleep, and she's not that worried about it.
So I don't remember what I said, but I think I said, "Are you alive?"
I'm pretty sure you did too.
So my husband looks at me, right? We're like 15 minutes into waiting, and he's like, Stephanie doesn't want to have a podcast with you anymore. And if there's one thing about me, it's that I can't be verbally shut down. Like I don't need to lead a discussion, but I need to be a positive part of it.
Yes.
So I look at him and I'm like, why would you say that? And he's like, it's been 15 minutes. And I'm like, maybe she's dead,
Yeah,
like,
maybe. You're like, she would never quit on me unless she literally died.
I'm like, don't call 911 yet,
Pan to me, literally dying. So at 9:19, you say to me, are you alive?
Yes.
I say nothing.
You say nothing. So I don't realize that you're at the bottom of your stairwell, like
Do you want to know what the worst part was?
what was the
When
worst
I
part?
fell, when I broke my leg and I was using a walker to get to the bathroom, at first it was with assistance, and then there became a point where I graduated to using the walker alone at night to the bathroom. And there was one night where I went to
Progression.
go adjust the air conditioner and I fell over my walker onto the ground and I literally was the I've fallen and can't get up, and I was yelling for my husband because my
You're
phone
the
was over
life
there.
alert lady.
He couldn't hear me, Lauren, because it was June and we have the air conditioners on upstairs.
I know, and you like to think that you live in the comfort of the fact that you can only afford a home big enough to hear every inch of it. But there have been occasions where my husband, it's the air conditioners. It truly is.
They're
That when
not
you're
good
on
for
a,
us.
they muffle the noise, and
So
like,
now
do
I'm
you
a
get a life
floor.
alert?
I think I need a life alert. Like, sponsor me, life alert, because this time I'm actually a floor lower. I'm in the
Yeah.
basement. I'm like, ah, I'm really hurt. Like, I'm freaking the fuck out, and I don't know, because now I've learned that you don't
But you
know
have your
how bad
phone,
it
right?
is when
You never know
you
how
never
bad it
know.
is as
Well, thank
as a nurse.
fucking
So
God, my phone's in my pocket.
okay, so you're better off this time.
I take my good arm because one of my elbows is really hurting. And I'm like,
I don't even want to picture this. Like,
I'm like, I
picture me.
fell.
I'm like a little annoyed. Like I'm
She's
like,
pissed at me. She's pissed at me. And I'm
yeah.
looking
I
for my
haven't
life alert.
I haven't said anything hateful yet, but like my husband's like maybe she quit the pot, and I'm like maybe she did. I don't even
You're
need
like,
her.
I don't even think it was that serious of a friendship. It was
I'm like
never that
stay
serious.
rooted with Lauren.
With Lauren and Lauren.
Like, where'd she go? She's dead.
Pan to me,
So-
I'm like,
She's like, yeah, like a little cockroach on her back. And your husband
literally.
collects you at
He
some
collects
point,
me.
and he
collects
brings you
me.
upstairs. We're not going to make him the hero of the story.
No, nobody's
No.
the hero in
But
this
he
story.
does text me because that's something that happens when Stephanie falls. When Stephanie falls from high heights, she usually is supposed to be doing something with me, and then she has to tell her
I
husband,
feel like you've been actually, now that I think about it,
I am not the common factor here.
there's one
Steph.
denominator on every time I've fallen,
Put
and
your
it's,
fucking red yarn away.
I just want to say, she was like, you're a bad influence for me. You're always falling. And I'm like, I didn't start falling until I started hanging around with you.
Steps over here like I've never met our dog.
I've never met that dog. That dog jumped on my back and pushed me down the stairs.
I've never fallen. I've never fallen.
I never fell before I met Lauren.
All
Never.
right. Well,
So
the
I
jury's
fell.
out on that one. But she fell, and then her husband texted me and said, Steph wanted you to know that she fell down the stairs and she's on the couch. It was something to that effect.
I was
and
literally laying stiff in bed. Then
First I typed up what I typed to you to him, and then I deleted it because I'm like, he's going to think I'm insensitive.
So this is what she sends me. I don't have my phone at this point because I had it, but once my husband retrieved me, I think I left it on the stairs and he grabbed it. It was lost into the shuffle. So all I have is an ice pack. They find my phone eventually because I'm like, I'm going to need to scroll at some point because we know I'm not sleeping tonight. I get my phone, and after the Are You Alive, a few minutes later, fucking bitch, I can't with you. And then 10 minutes later, 10 minutes later, no, not like,
I
not
was
like,
mulling it over.
not 30 seconds later, not immediately. I'm talking, I'll show the receipts,
I am the
Professor.
worst texter.
I'm going to send the receipts. I was going to say Professor, Trooper Proctor. And she says, I meant that in a I'm concerned for you sort of way. That was the last I heard of her.
Well,
No, go
So,
ahead. Go
Your
ahead,
Honor.
Trooper Proctor.
I'd like to approach the bench.
Can you read the
So,
text aloud?
At this point, I was literally I was gonna cross-examine your text and find them, but I only scrolled so much, and then I said, forget it. I'll just
Forget
go with
it.
what she says I said. So what I will say is that at one point I just called it, and it was before your husband texted me, and I was like, whatever happened to Steph, it couldn't have been good. Like I had a few I had a
She'll be dead
theory.
in the morning. She'll be dead in the
I
morning.
I had a
John McCabe, he
theory,
wasn't on my lawn.
and two of them you
O'Keefe.
were
That's his
alive
fucking
in.
name.
Two of them you were alive in, and one of them you were dead on the lawn.
Dead on the
And
lawn. You couldn't see me.
I literally was like, you know what? I feel like maybe she injured herself, or like she's just hurting all of a sudden, or like she got into a fight with her husband. Honestly, theory A was that you got into a fight with your husband and you were like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. I felt
I
like
rolled him up in the carpet.
you were having a DIY moment where you were like, I'll just do it myself. And
I'll break Lauren's tail light. That's what I'll do. I'll break Lauren's tail light and I'll sprinkle it in my lawn.
and
That was plan A.
And you were like, I don't know, you were doing something motherly upstairs was my plan A of what you were doing. So I was like, let me just like go upstairs. I'm sure she'll send me a text in like 20-ish minutes. When I ever saw that text from your husband, I was like, what the fuck, Steph? Like that was my first thought. And it was what the fuck, and like why are you always doing too much and hurting yourself and not
That's
taking
what
a
I
minute
gathered. That's
to
what I
resonate?
gathered.
But of course, I said fucking bitch, and like that's not the most. I am a wordsmith, but that was not the most crafty.
That
thing
wasn't
I
her
could
best
have
work. I was dying though when I saw it, and it hurt to laugh at that point because I was having back spasms.
I'm a wordy gal, but when I have few words with you, that's when you know.
That's when you know. And
when
I
you know
literally
it's
went
there.
to bed in the
And
morning. You were like, "Are you okay?"
So this is the thing. So then my husband was like, "Do you want to watch something?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm waiting to hear back from Steph," because once again there was a delay in me being like, "What are you fucking dead?"
What are you
like,
fucking
whatever
dead,
I
you dumb
said,
bitch? You
whatever
died to get out of
really
this podcast.
nice, friendly thing I said.
I have so
Then
much confrontational anxiety that I die rather than quit this podcast. I'm like, see you later.
forever. So my husband's like, "Do you want to watch something?" Oh my god,
Okay.
that was your memorial service. What was that?
I
Oh
don't.
my goodness, I
I
didn't
could
like
never make it
that.
happen again.
That was the great beyond. That was your Nana trying to be on our
Nana.
pod.
And that's what I was doing. I was
Little
literally lying
signs.
at the bottom of the stairs, like maybe it's time for me and Nana.
But that was your Nana saying, fucking bitch. Slow the fuck down, you know?
She didn't have to say it so loud.
Nobody's
you know?
going to say that except me and your Nana.
You guys didn't have to be so loud about it.
So my husband was like, let's watch something. Well, watching something near my husband, and he makes this joke that like I'm just being an asshole when I say this, but I truly mean this. Like my husband is my comfort person. I already have such a hard time watching things. When I am near him, something in my internal being relaxes, but like in a possum kind of way, and I just fall asleep.
You and Luke are so
Like,
full
I
of
just
shit.
fall
You and
asleep.
Luke are so full of shit. This is the same fucking story every night. Like, let's watch a movie. He's like, if we put on a movie, I'm gonna fall asleep immediately. But
I love
if
you
I
so
pick
much.
a movie and it's a really good movie, maybe I'll stay awake and maybe I won't. And I'm
We
like,
won't.
fuck
We
you
won't.
guys. You're never staying awake. You should always let us
And then
pick
I'm
the
gonna
movie.
then I'm gonna be like, I fell asleep because I love you too much. Like
I'm
that's
so
my whole
over
reasoning.
that. I'm
So
so
I literally fell asleep without a follow up on your fall because I was watching Black Mirror, and like I was like human melatonin, and then you
Don't
took
you
like
even.
I sent you 3 text messages like 15 minutes apart, and then crickets for 40 minutes.
It's
And then
almost
you
as if
send
I was
me a
lying
voice
there
memo.
dying. It's almost as if I was quite literally in my deathbed. Okay?
And for that, I forgive you.
So that's why we're recording today. That's why.
No, I'm so glad that you are okay. As always.
As
As
al-
always, it could have been worse, Steph.
I'm so
So
it
let's
feels like it's pretty bad though.
I do have these like moments. Like today, there was a moment where I was rushing and I was carrying 3 things. Like, and I feel like that's the thing, right? You have 2 hands, carry 2 things. I can't learn that. In
But
my
don't you feel like
adulthood.
the things men carry in 2 arms we literally carry in the palm of our good hand?
I can carry like 3 beverages in this hand,
Listen,
like seamlessly.
a key hanging from the middle finger. You know, a kid
Yeah,
hanging onto the pinky. A coffee.
something out of my teeth
A bog
if I
bag.
have to.
If you have to, you will use anything that you have as a mom.
I'll wrap something around my neck. Like I'm like, oh, this slinky's been in the car for a while. I'll
But
just
then,
wear it as a scarf, as a
and
boa.
take this as like a cautionary tale because
Well, that's
look
the
at me.
thing. Is
Do you
that
want to be me?
play the
Everybody.
ASPCA
Anyone.
commercial music, Kenny? Play
Put the GoFundMe link at the
in
bottom of
the
this. Do
arms
you
of
want to be me?
angels.
Do you want to hurt every day? Do you want to look yourself in the mirror and say,
Well, that's the thing.
why?
So I was carrying 3 things, and I feel like that just makes your equilibrium go off, right? Like,
Careful.
because you have like you have a front heavy all of a sudden. And I'm
My
walking.
Nana will trip you too if you don't fucking stop.
My toddler just full on sumo pushes me, right? And I like stutter step. I'm able to catch myself. What's behind me? My dog. So I literally jump over my dog. And in that moment, I'm like, I am at the age where I could have just ended it all. I could have just broke a hip
Don't I know it?
and I don't even have a good backstory.
And let that be a
So-
lesson to everybody. You are one fall away. Like, you're like, I'm in my 30s. Like, I'm just a girly.
Yeah.
No. When you're in your 30s, you are one bad fall away from a hip replacement.
Yeah.
Okay?
The calcium ain't calciuming.
And then I'm in bed. I'm in my bed. I'm on ice. I'm like, the worst of it is over. 15 minutes later, the fucking devil from hell itself starts coming up my fucking body. And I'm like, oh, now I'm dying. I'm like, what is this? This is like crazier than like pregnancy heartburn, which like if you know, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything about it because I was like, if this is how I go, I deserve it, you know?
Well, that's the thing. As once you mentioned it to me, as a medical professional, I have to say that like cardiac events present differently in women. If it persists, and if you're like it's heartburn, Lauren, I'm like okay.
I'm like,
Giving
don't I
me
seem
the
like a
big
lucky
eye.
gal? Do I seem like somebody who would die right now? You know?
You're
And-
like I am fine.
But I'm next to my husband, you know, and my husband's next to me. Poor him. And I'm like, something's wrong with my chest. He's like, your chest? And I'm like, well, it feels like heartburn. He's like, didn't you have queso earlier? And I was like, when don't I have queso, Lucas?
Yeah.
And salsa? Like, that's just part of my food pyramid. That's what I'm like,
But-
literally 20% queso. But it was like,
The
it was
truth of it is that you
demonic.
shook yourself up like a newborn.
Lauren was like, you're so old, bitch, that you fell and your insides were upsides and now you have heartburn. And I was like, I hate it here.
Truly. But like, yeah, I was like, you're like, I don't know, I think it's getting better. And then I just fell asleep on you. It wasn't a very good televisit. I won't charge for that one.
That one I am not paying you for ever.
I'm like that voice memo at like your doctor's office that's like, if this is a real medical emergency, dial
Leave me
911.
the fuck alone. That's the message I got.
Like if this
Loud
is
and
just
clear.
a sore shoulder, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Straight out of Lemony
But-
Snicket.
But once again, could have been way worse. You know, like we don't need to re-injure
Next time
that
we record,
extremity.
I'm in a full body cast. You're like, it could be worse. We couldn't
You're
see
literally
your
like
mouth.
a Looney Tunes character. You're like
An anvil just drops from me from my kitchen right now. Could have been worse.
full body cast on the pod. Could have been worse. But I'll tell you what, with aging, I come about these days as a parent that I want to show up and show out. And one of them is field
Me
day.
too.
And as I age, I realize that I go 100% at these things. Like we had field day today, and my shoulders, my arms. Have you parachuted recently? Like remember like gym
did.
class
I did.
parachuting?
At Lukey's Special Olympics, I was in the parachute actually.
Okay, well, if you don't know, you know, you all stand around a rainbow parachute and you pick a color and you violently whip the parachute and you make waves and then you make a tent and you put it over you. And it's like, I feel like it's very standard 90s public school information.
And it holds true still today. I will say the thrill at first is amazing. Like that first time you get inside that parachute, you sit down, it mushrooms over you, you see your friends, you run across, you're like, this is fucking magic.
You
The
pretend to tell a campfire story. It's a
the
tent,
fifth
like.
time, the 10th time, you're like, does
So,
this come down?
so I will back up and say that that was our station for the day. And if you don't have a child or you haven't encountered public school or any school's field day, end of the year celebration,
Which is
then
apparently a whole day now.
which is apparently a whole day, which I feel like in the 90s it was like 35 minutes and lunch outside.
Yeah, you carried that sponge over your head, and then you had a popsicle. What is going on? Nana, stop.
This play is
Nana,
about
not
Stephanie today.
now. Not now. I know you want to start a podcast with me. Stop it. Later. Lauren's
You little
here.
Bitmoji over there.
Nana
So-
didn't know smartphones. She doesn't know what this is.
She's like,
okay,
I love
I'm
the
sorry.
emojis. I love the
She's
emojis.
so cute, that little emoji.
So we're at field day, right? And field day is now an all-day celebration. And I feel like it's so important as a parent for me to show up at these things and be present because it's attributing to your child's overall happiness with school and their community. So I
And
just
it's
want
a
to
peek at it.
You get to peek at it. Like my daughter said today, she's like, you got to see every single class. I was
Well,
like, it
'cause-
was literally like this 15-minute interval in and out, got to quick chat the kids up and then go.
Which
and
is all
really,
you want.
Which is all you need.
It's more than what you need.
And really appreciate what the teachers are doing and like how they're interacting with your kids and the other kids at the school that your child goes to as well. Like you're kind of scoping it out. You're like, what does third grade
That's
look like?
100% what I'm doing. And I feel like our kids, as we've said before, they come home and you're like, how was your day? And they're like, bleh. And then it's like 8:45 and they're like, someone pushed me really hard.
Yeah, they're like, she made fun of my last name, and you're like, and you're like trying to get information from your child, and you don't want to plant fake information in their brains, so you're trying to give the littlest bit of information that you can to provoke more. Like, you're literally investigating them. You're like,
exactly.
You're like, don't make up some weird last name for
You're
Bodwin
Alan
right
Jackson,
now.
You're asking all the right questions with the right
like,
amount of details.
What'd she say to you? Yeah, exactly. It's the court of bedtime.
But like, you only get so much, and there's parts that stand out to them that like maybe aren't the questions that the answers that you were looking for. So when you get to go to a field day or a field trip or something like that, you get to see the little environment at work.
Exactly. It's its own what is it called? What is the word?
Ecosystem.
Ecosystem, yes. They're their own little village. So it was very cool to have a peek in that today. And of course, my husband and I never get to be on school grounds together. Like that is one thing that we were laughing about today because we both have full-time jobs. So it's a divide and conquer situation.
Exactly.
Every single time.
Who has PTO?
Yeah.
Who's not so negative that they can go?
Literally when they're sick, we like flip a coin. We're like, who's losing it out of their bank today? Like who's taking the 8 to 12 hour loss? So
it's brutal.
So this particular thing, we were like, you know what? Lennon's just got so much going on. Like, she's been so great this year. Like, we just need to celebrate her. We are both going to take the time off. Like, because that's the thing, is that our generation, we do not live within the confinements of PTO and our means.
Because we're like, you get one life, make it an experience.
Yeah, and we're like, the boomers burnt down the life, so like I am going to enjoy every
It's not our fault that we don't have enough money to live and have fun.
Or clean air. Like we don't have enough clean air or money.
So just give us field day.
So just give me field day off, whether you like it or not. I'm either going to call out or you're going to give me it off. I'm going. So that was what we proposed. And we both got the day off. So we were like, we're doing this together. We're volunteering together. We show up. I brought my bog bag because I'm like, what better fucking item than a bog bag on field day.
It
Like we
was
had
like
our
you were entering
waters.
a sorority. You were like, oh, you didn't know I was a mother? Here's my
Yeah.
bog bag.
I'm like, oh, you don't have sunscreen on? Oh,
You know
let me
what? My
I have a little SPF bag.
millennial bordering Gen Z of a sister today, she came with us to softball and she's putting my bog bag in the trunk. And she goes, "This is such a bitchy thing." She goes, "I don't really get all the hype about it."
Of course you don't.
Get the fuck out of my bog bag. Don't you dare take a snack out of my bog bag. Only
No.
snacks for me and Carrie.
Yeah. Yeah,
None for
you're like, see that
Courtney.
picnic blanket in my bog bag? You can sit
Oh,
off
that's
of
so
it.
funny because you were sitting on my blanket.
You're like, see that Taco Bell in my bog bag? You can't have any of it.
She brought the Taco Bell, but I did put
Oh,
it in
all
my
right.
bag.
But yes, so I roll up with the bog bag, and
Business.
these are not Gen Z moms. Gen Z teachers, they're probably like tacky, but the
Yeah.
millennial moms that are like, I love your chippe, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And my husband and I stand together. We've got our little coffees going, and the gym teacher comes over, explains everything, and he's like, "We're gonna pick stations."
You got to
So
pick.
we got to sort of pick. He like named from a list, and you had to grab something. So
So
of
how
course,
was it? Like physically grab something? Because I get anxious in those situations because I already know what I want to do.
so you had to respond, which is something I'm so bad at because
Out
I
loud
respond
or
so
like
much
beforehand?
out loud. So he would say, you know, like um soccer, you know, like tug or war,
I'm
and
like,
you is it tug of war, tug or war?
I say tug of war.
Tug of war. Tug
Tug
of
of
war.
war.
I say
Tug
tug
of,
of war.
I say tug of war.
So you said it like that, and you had to respond. So, of course, if there is a lull in the action, I'm going to make noise.
Yeah.
That's just something that I do, whether I want that thing or not. And he said parachutes, and nobody said anything. And I said, whew, okay.
Ha.
And my husband was like, "Are you sure?" And then our gym teacher was like, "That's a challenging one. You know, it takes a strong, a strong lead." Which I love gym teacher energy. If I was not such a sedentary person, I would love to be a gym
I was gonna
teacher.
say another commonality of you and my husband is every time. So our gym teachers like direct the school drop off situation, and we have like the nicest gym teachers at our school. And every time Luke's like, "I would love to do that job."
They like hold a clipboard and like they take jumping jacks so seriously, and they always have a radio, and I love that
They're
about
just
them.
good, kind people, you
They
know.
are. So he's like, you know, you're up for the challenge of parachutes. So I'm like, okay. So we get to the station. There is a clipboard with like 700 parachute games on it that you can play. And he's like, honestly, do whatever you want,
You're like, I thought we
freestyle.
were just.
It has like an age range of like who's appropriate to play that type of parachute game, and I'm like, this is not the parachute games of the 90s.
That's where things change.
Like
It's like
you
the
said,
nugget builds, you
we
know.
literally threw that parachute up. Nobody was holding it. We all were underneath getting concussions. And then they put us in that money machine. Remember them?
What money
Sidebar.
machine?
Did you ever have like a pep rally or like a, I forget what they call them, but like a
I hate pep
student
rallies.
thing that like they'd come and they'd like talk about a fundraiser, and then they'd put somebody in the wind money machine and they'd try to gather the dollars?
I don't think so. I've seen it at like an arcade type of situation.
Okay, well, I had fundraising like that. And that, for some reason, connects to the parachute for me. But back to the parachute. So there were so many games on the parachute thing. And, like, we were just trying to get, like, there was a dunk tank. You know, like you said, it's a full carnival.
Someone couldn't have volunteered. Like that had to be something planned ahead for the duck tank.
So the dunk tank was, like, faculty
teacher.
ran. And then there's like a inflatable obstacle course that also was like 3 parts that was ran by like faculty, and then like we had like the hula hoops and the parachutes and the smelly little jersey things to play soccer in, you
The
know, like we
frickin'
were
smelly
doing.
jerseys. Those have been the same since the 90s.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the parachute is the same from the 90s also. So, you know, like we are going to make this fun. So we get right into it. And of course, we are just like giving it our all for all of the students, because I feel like I'm there for my kid, but like if you're not there for your kid, I still want your kid to have a good day,
And there's
like,
also this like you just want kids to think you're a cool mom.
so that's the other thing, right? Like, you just want everyone to be like Mrs. Bay, though, like
Because you're like,
Mrs.
if
Bay.
someone's like Nora and Lukey's mom and dad are so cool, then I feel like that inherently makes them cooler.
Literally, like, I was so obviously the younger kid, there was a first grader that was like, "I'll miss you." And I was like, that's literally all I need to hear. Like,
Yeah,
have a great
goodbye.
day.
Goodbye.
See you never. I hope you have a great
I hope
field
you have
day.
a great life.
But we were like giving it our all. We were hype as hell. We were like, my husband was throwing all of the, one of the teachers was like, how did you get all of the little balls to just fall from the sky? Because my husband was just throwing them over his back in a recycle bin because we were doing popcorn. Because popcorn
Oh,
if you've
sure
done
do.
parachute, where
Sure
you just
do.
take all of the ball pit balls and just throw them
Ba ba
around.
ba ba ba.
We got to see our daughter play amongst her peers, which was awesome. We got to sit with her friends because, like, there was a break station, as there always is, like a
Yes,
water.
a shady little tent.
So it worked out that, like, the, like, empty bit of ours, which was, like, our little break, was when Lennon was, like, one little station over. Because that's
Yes.
one thing about being the present volunteering parent is that you are there for all of the kids, like, you want to be there just for your kid, but you
You're
can't
like,
just,
I can't pick favorites, but it would probably be mine.
if I could, I would follow her around with my camera and
Yeah.
take 700 photos that I'll never do anything with.
And that's the hesitation because the only downside of being a volunteer in those events, because I didn't do it this year, obviously, because I'm too accident prone, is that you don't get to follow your kid around because part of you is like, I just want to go see my kids do their thing. But then there
Yeah.
is definitely a fun part of being able to like get eyes on everybody.
Absolutely. So we got like a little time under like a shady tree with her, and like it was just so nice. And we had the best day. And I have to say that my main takeaway was that moving your arms for that many hours in the sun is
It's
a
for the
lot
birds.
in the 30s. Like, as a bird, my wings, I can only lift my arms that yay high. Like, if I
She's
put my
just a
hands
widow
all the way
bird.
up,
We got
I'm
done
just
so
a baby
dirty, Lauren.
bird. And we were having so much fun that we were like definitely leaning into the whole bit. And I have to tell you one story about field day that freaking sent me. So we were doing the tent, which is like, like you throw it up in the air and then you put it behind your bum. And then, like you said,
sit.
you're all in the parachute. And we're like, who has a scary campfire story? And, like all the kids are like zombies, vampires, like all day we're nailing it. But as we're getting older kids, we're realizing we have a different audience. Like,
Of course.
the 4th and 5th graders can make you quake because they're not middle schoolers.
They'll look at you dead in the eye and not laugh at your joke.
Middle schoolers are the meanest. So
Middle
mean.
schoolers are hands down the worst humans on earth.
And I feel like the
Scary
4th and
as
5th
fucking
graders
hell.
are trying to possess that. They're trying to own that. So they're trying out new material. So they're coming out with some outlandish shit. And me and my husband are like deflecting and deferring and like making little jokes off of it. But then one kid, I look at him and I tried always to pick the kid that just like doesn't seem to be the most robust but is volunteering, right?
Not
like,
the
'cause I
Lauren.
feel like that's what the teachers would do, right? The teachers would say, I'm not picking the Lauren. She's going to talk anyways. She's going to talk
she's gonna
over.
tell us whether or not I call on her.
Yeah, I'm picking the Stephanie who's politely raising her hand
She's like-
and hasn't moved an inch off of her inch of the tent. Yeah, like she's like, maybe she'll pick me,
Pick me.
So I pick him, right? And he looks at me and he goes, once upon a time, there was this woman named Carrie, I forget the full name. He goes, and she was locked in an apartment for 3 days. And I'm like, wow.
Like, what
Whoa.
about the zombies?
I'm like, is this a true crime? He's like, yeah, I saw this on TV. My mom
He
was
listens to
watching
Crime
something."
Junkie. I freaking can't.
His mom literally was listening or watching something, and he was regurgitating it out to the campfire story. And I was like, whoa. And she
And-
was a zombie. Everybody out.
Ah! You're like, popcorn! No, it's so
I'm
true
like,
because
I can't
elementary
with these
school
kids.
has 5-year-olds, and like, what are they? Like 11? Something like that? 10,
Yeah.
11?
Which to them, we probably, and I was trying to think of this in my head, like to them, we are so old, but we
I
are the
know.
youngest of the old people.
Especially me walking around right now. Like,
Like to a 5-year-old, they're like, wow, look at this
look
old
at that
woman
100-year-old
working
lady.
a parachute.
What I was going to say before was on our last field day, we got done so dirty because I don't know if we were just the last people there to pick a station or if it was assigned to us and somebody hates me. But we got stuck with like the balance something on a spoon, like an egg type of
Oh,
thing, and walk
yeah.
back and forth. And it was just like the most mundane and boring of stations. Like I was looking at it and I was like, honestly, like I get it. Like this station kind of sucks. Like it was just it was a filler, it
Yeah.
wasn't a parachute, but in the end I wasn't exhausted because
And I have to say that I was probably gaslit because all I needed was the validation of my second grader and her gym teacher. And I was like, I'm in.
they
And
sent her just to get you to do the parachute for after lunch.
at the end, well, that was the thing. The lunch break, he's like, the gym teacher comes up to us and he's like, he's in a drip sweat because he's the gym teacher. He has the whistle. He's controlling the like 15-minute shut off. He's like
You know
working
who
the
the gym
whole
teacher
thing.
is
Yeah, he's got a
immediately.
whistle on, like the clipboard. It's
And we've had
official.
women gym teachers, listen, but right now
Oh.
we don't. I don't want to be like, we've had the girlies teaching
She
gym,
looks the same. She's
she
wearing
looks the
different
same.
Nike shorts, but she has the same clipboard and the
Same
same
whistle.
that she aggressively toots
but real
at
good
15
pony.
minutes.
And
She's
she
got
can
a
get
tight
those
pony.
little critters in line. Like
Yes.
I've seen like a girl, like one of our gym teachers she had to be in her like 20s, like super young, super cool. But if she said jump, those kids said how fucking
Well,
high.
that's when he hit the whistle, everybody stopped. They were like, we have to go. Like we would
They're
be
like,
in the
"It's-
middle of a
it's
game.
gym
They're like, we have to
teacher."
go to the next station. So he comes over to us, and it's it's lunchtime, and he's like, well, the next session is at like 12:15. Like they had a picnic lunch break where they all
Yes.
broke off and whatever. So he looks at us and he's like, are you guys coming back? And I'm like, we took
What are
the
you
day
gonna
off for
say?
this.
What are you
We
gonna say to
demanded
the
the
gym
day
teacher?
off. Like, what are we gonna say? This man is making not enough money to razzle dazzle at this magnitude. Like, we're coming back. So when we came back at the very end, like I said, I got the validation because he was like, takes a certain person for the parachute.
He's like, I'm sorry.
I was like, that's me. No, he was like giving us our roses. But we were like, yes, we're not going to be able to move our arms. And he was like, I am sorry. And also, it was a beautiful day.
It
but
was.
the wind kicked up.
That's
One
nice
thing about
though.
a parachute is that the wind taketh it away when you're
It
holding
giveth
it.
and it taketh.
When you're holding it with a bunch of humans that weigh like 60 to 80 pounds, like it's rough.
There's
So-
only one station that I could think of that would be more physically exerting, I think, that I saw at my kids' field day. And you know how they do the tug of war, which I'm always like,
Yes.
someone could get hurt. I always
Yeah.
feel a little bit like,
But the thing is that the station runner of the tug of war is very underrated because she's doing the least.
do you? Okay, not.
Oh,
I don't know what. I don't know if this was by their own choice or if this was on their to-do list as the designated tug of war person.
What was your tug of war person doing?
This gentleman was in the middle, holding both ends, like, "Arr, arr," like the whole time, lunging, helping.
He was doing the most.
But can I just flex real quickly for the girls?
Yes.
So they go in my daughter's class because we're like hype because tug of war is exciting. Nora was watching because of her ankle, but we were cheering them on and they were like, let's do girls versus boys, and it's always boys are naturally stronger, like this and that. 3 times in a row, these girlies, missing one, by the way, because one was watching, yanked those boys without the middle guy to the ground.
I love that.
And I was so invested. Look, I'm a boy mom too, okay? I have a beige bog bag. But when I saw those girlies pull the boys out to the ground a little too loudly, I was like, go girls!
That was me during, like, they had, like, this dodgeball-esque, like, but it was, like, with hoops. Like, you were supposed to get at the hoops, but of course, like, they're elementary school children. They were getting it at each other.
Of
So
course.
when the girls would hit the boys, I was like, whoa, yeah, go girls.
Go
Like, you got it,
girls.
girl.
Go girls. I
But
can't help it.
that's what field day brings out in you as a, like,
It
as
does.
a parent, that, like, you're there for your kids, just camaraderie and, like, them being a part of what their little world looks like. And, like, you hear the good, the bad, and the, like, nothing. Sometimes you hear radio silence from your school age
100%.
child. So to be there
And
in the
see it.
action and see them pulling down the boys, which Lennon's girl squad won twice as well. I think, you know what I think it is? It's the timing. The men, the
They
boys,
weren't ready.
they aren't ready. They're never going to be ready.
Guess what? It's not all about physical strength, my friends.
It's about up here too. And I have one more story. Like, we walked away victorious. I think both of us this year. You got to watch near your bog bag.
Yes.
I got to be a hero, but at the cost of my rotator cuffs. You know,
I don't want to admit it, but like it hurts when it's filled up. I need a wagon for my bog bag.
oh, she's like, I was a spectator and my arms hurt. I'm like, I was flexing a parachute. Honestly, like, you got injured yesterday. Steph got hurt yesterday, so I got hurt today.
And listen, the bog bag
I had
hurts
to
my
lean
shoulders
into the
and the
pain.
fall. It was a joint effort.
And then I was like, let me bring this to, bringing it to field day was fine. Bringing it home was another story, because, like, I mostly applied sunblock. Okay, I have burnt back of the necks on my family as well, so don't call DCF on me either.
My kid already called on me.
I literally saw your daughter and she was just, like, showing me her sunburn. I'm like,
She
do you want
goes,
me
"You're
to
a
call the
medical
police?"
professional. Can you report this? Aren't
You're
you
a
supposed to
mandated
report
reporter.
this?"
She's
Do you
like, look
love
at
me?
this underneath my
She
new
goes,
my new dress lace. Here it is.
I
Here's my
tried.
sunburn. But I was definitely hurting leaving, but I held my head high. And I think we both won this year at end of school activities. We're
For
almost
sure.
in the clear. But I went on a tropical vacation
Oh my
not
God.
too long ago, just yesterday.
Just yesterday.
I got an MRI.
This bitch
I
is
got
so
a
crazy.
follow-up MRI.
She's like, make it a double. Make it a
So-
double study.
So if you're following me, and I'm not really telling you the information, so it'd be stalking if you were following me on this, but I've been getting MRIs of my brain for the past 6 months, 2 of them. They found a little something on my pituitary gland, which I must report, Rooties, is stable. Stable. She's only 3 millimeters. She's not
She's
doing
just a
anything.
baby.
She's a benign baby right now.
Yes.
You know, we'll let endocrinology
BBB.
decide. BBB. We love her. So she's just
This is
hanging
how
out
Lauren
in
and I
there.
deal with things. We give them nicknames.
Yeah.
BBB.
This is honestly a medical podcast today.
It is.
Loosely.
It is. It's a precautionary tale.
So we're just checking on her every 6 months right now. You know, brain MRIs all around, with contrast and without. So it's about 45 minutes just laying flat, being jerked back and forth in a magnetic imaging.
And
you
as
know.
somebody who works with people getting MRIs every single day, the most common thing I hear is that people are terrified because they don't realize they are claustrophobic until they get in that machine. Go
So
ahead,
I
crazy lady.
am sick.
Go
And
ahead.
my husband, anytime I get out of an MRI, because this isn't my first rodeo with MRIs, like I've got the lumbar, the thoracic.
She's a frequent flyer. She has a patient folder, probably.
I should have a rewards card, you know, like this one's on a.
It's always the 80-year-old saying that to me, and then my 33-year-old bestie.
Yeah, and now I'm carrying a bog bag, so
She's
you
like-
watch out. They haven't gotten my cervical yet.
She's like, I'll be back for that. Oh, you haven't seen my C-spine? Well, just you wait.
So I get there, and the woman first is like, they're behind, and like she's shuffling me in, and she puts me in a dressing room, and she's like, you're gonna be in here for 20 to 30 minutes, and I'm like, perfect. I'll make a TikTok. So that's
Yeah.
what I do, like
I'll
I'm
put
like
on so you want me to perform for you? Who's behind the glass?
exactly. I'm like, is this a three-way mirror? I've got
Mr.
you.
MRI back there.
Let me entertain you. So I make a little something something, I'm a businesswoman. I'm
Sure,
using my
sure.
time wisely.
She works all the time, like a
She
dog.
brings me in. They ask me what music. I'm like, ma'am, I do not care. And this is the thing. When you get an MRI of your brain,
It's like
they
heavy
put you
metal.
in a head cage. And like you quite literally look like Hannibal Lecter.
Because you have to stay still for a long time or else it's all for naught.
And you're on a board as big as your body and coffin style. And they're like, would you like a warm blanket? And you're like, something, like I'm in.
You're like, what about a little warm cookie? You got
I'm
any milk back
literally-
there?
They're technically scrubs, but like for somebody that wears like fashionista scrubs, I think these are like prisoner scrubs. So they're like
They're like
navy
paper.
blue. Yeah, like they're what they put the new prisoners in. And they lay you down and they're like, would you like to listen to classical or reggae? And I'm like, I don't care. So
Dealer's choice. You're
So
an
she lays
exciting
me-
patient. You're a
she
wild
lays
card.
me down and she's like, you're going to have to get the IV contrast. And if you feel weird, and like last time I was okay. Like it sends, like, it seems like it's pretty 50-50. Like either people feel warm
Yes.
and some people say they feel like they're almost going to pee themselves, like
Yes.
that kind of feeling, or like you kind of feel cold all over. It seems to go either way. I fall asleep, Stephanie. I fall asleep. The
They
woman
give her
is
the
directing
sleepy
me.
juice.
She
They give her
has
the
to
sleepy
wake
juice.
me up. She has to wake me up. I get
She's like,
contrast
take more pictures.
through my
Take
veins.
more pictures. Why don't
She wakes
you?
me up and she's like, we're giving you the contrast now. She's like, you might feel a little funny because they have to do imaging without and then imaging with. And I'm like, okay.
You're like, was
And then
I in REM sleep? I'm so sorry if I moved.
She looks me dead in the eyes because they take you out of this thing like on an automated little levee and then it's just them above you. And she's like, honey, you're all done. And I'm like,
You okay?
I'm
Did she
drooling a
pass
little
out?
bit. She goes, it's always the mothers with young children. I love it. And to that I say, if you need a nap, tell
Get
somebody.
an MRI.
Tell somebody you need an MRI.
Get an
I'm sure
MRI.
there's cheaper ways, but there's more expensive. And
It honestly, it's
I
such
was
a
like-
special story.
I'm like, honestly, she played Spanish guitar, and that was all I needed. I was like, Carlos Santana, take me
She
away.
goes, oh, good night. Good night. Good night.
And good night, Rooties.
Good night, Rooties. We did it.